Hello everybody. Today I wanted to have a look at my Nintendo Gamecube collection. If you've never seen one of his videos before, basically I go through each game, tell you a lot of information about it and tell you if I think it's any good or not. And today I'm looking at a Gamecube. So without further ado, let's go on with the games. First up we have Super Smash Bros. Melee. This is obviously a fighting game, primarily multiplayer, but you can play single player modes as well. It's got an adventure mode and a challenge mode and that sort of thing. Obviously various different Nintendo characters in here, and all the different stages are based off various different Nintendo games. Yeah, really good game this. Most of the Smash games are pretty good, to be fair, you can't really go wrong with them. I believe this was the best-selling GameCube game as well, and I think it's probably a game that a lot of people really do associate with a GameCube when they think of it. But yeah, great little title. Then we have Super Mario Sunshine. This one, obviously a platformer featuring Mario. Your big gimmick here is Mario's got this sort of jets, basically. You can like spray water on things. Use it a lot of the time to sort of clear up mud in the game. Yeah, this is pretty good. I wouldn't say it's... how can I put it now? It's a very good game, but I wouldn't say it's the best Mario game. Like, I think Mario 64 is probably better than this, and I think Galaxy is probably better than this. But it is still very good. I said my only issue with this one, it does feel like a lot of the time you're just cleaning up mud. But it is still a pretty sound game, it's a pretty solid game regardless. Another Mario game, we got Mario Power Tennis. This is obviously a tennis game, again featuring various Mario characters. You can play standard games of tennis, you can play sort of the slightly more wackier games of power-ups, plenty of tournaments, obviously you can have up to 4 people. Yeah, really good title this. I think the Mario Tennis game goes all the way back to Game Boy Color, I think the first one. But yeah, again, really nice sound title this. And in a similar vein, we also have Mario Golf Toadstool Tour. This is, again, a golf game. Various Mario characters. Pretty good. Find it quite enjoyable. It's quite easy to pick up and play as well. It doesn't go too complicated with the intricacies of golf. But yeah, pretty sound title this one. Next we got WarioWare Inc. Mega Party Games. This one is basically, I wouldn't even call it a mini game compilation. It's almost like a micro game compilation. Lots of very short little mini games played very fast next to each other. If you ever played any of the Wario games, you'll know exactly what I mean. Yeah, really good little game this. Good for short bursts, I'd say. It's not something you're going to play for hours at a time, but a nice little half-hour play on this is pretty good. Graphic-wise, it isn't amazing, because I think it's based off a GBA game, but yeah, it's still really good time. This I like Wario as well as a character, because he's just sort of the anti-Mario to me, but yeah, good title. Then we got Super Monkey Ball by Sega. This is, how can I describe this? Basically, you're a little monkey in a see-through ball and you roll around basically little mini courses which last for like 30 seconds a minute each. Starts off very easy, gets quite difficult later on. There's also a ton of little party games as well, like there's Monkey Pool, Monkey Target, Monkey Racing, all sorts of good stuff in there. Real charm to this, very bright and colourful, very enjoyable. Again, party game great, by yourself great. Yeah, nice title. Then we got 18-Wheeler American Pro Trucker. So this is Sega arcade game. You race a sort of a big, 18-wheeler truck. You go from one side of the states to the other. It's nice, very short, very arcadey, very short. The sort of a game of really, it's about replaying it, getting your high score and that sort of thing. not necessarily bad, but not necessarily an essential purchase either. I'd say if you see it cheap, it might be worth getting. And talking of Sega arcade ports, we also got the awesome Crazy Taxi. If you've never played Crazy Taxi before, basically pick a taxi driver, you're in a city meant to be based on San Francisco. They don't say it's San Francisco, but it quite clearly is meant to be. You pick up your customer, drive them to a different part of the city, all done by time, because obviously every time you make a ride, you know, they give you some extra time. Yeah, really, really nice title, this. I first played this on the Dreamcast years and years ago. I believe it was an arcade title before that. Yeah, great little title, this. I'd say as well, this does have all the original music as well. So you have The Offspring and Bad Religion. Because I know a lot of the later titles had sort of slightly more generic music on this, but this still has a licensed soundtrack. So, yeah, good game. So next we got Capcom vs SNK 2 EO Millionaire Fighting 2001, which is quite a long-winded title. I usually just call it Capcom vs SNK 2. This is obviously a 2D fighter. It is essentially Street Fighter versus a King of Fighters. If you like Street Fighter, or if you like your SNK fighting games, you will absolutely love this. Really nice sort of crossover fighter. Quite similar to the Marvel vs. Capcom games, though we never actually got a Marvel vs. Capcom game on the Gamecube. But, yeah, great little title, this one. Plenty of characters to muck about with. You got different sort of fighting styles as well. Yeah, really, really top game. And talking of fighting games, we also got Soul Calibur 2. This is obviously a 3D fighting games, weapons based. First Soul Calibur was on the Dreamcast, and it was Soul Blade as well, which was a sort of prequel to that on the original PlayStation. Yeah, this is a really, really nice title, this. This has Link in it as well. Basically, this came out on a PS2, Xbox, and Gamecube. And each system got its own character, which you could play as. Nintendo got Link. I think PS2 got Henshi from Tekken. And Xbox... I can't actually remember what the Xbox got, because I've never played the Xbox version. But, yeah. Nice little game is. As I said, 3D fighter. You have your arcade mode, and you also have a quest mode, which is a lot more sort of filled out, and you can design your own characters or just play as the existing one. But yeah, really good game this. I think most of the Soul Calibur games are pretty good. And I was going to mention another fighting game. We got Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance. So obviously another one-on-one fighting game. Mortal Kombat. I'm sure most of you have played one over the years. Yeah, you got, let me see now. Yeah, you got sort of different styles you can switch to in a fight. You got weapons as well in this one. Obviously, you still got your fatalities and your brutalities and everything. Does go for a slightly more 3D perspective, this one, as opposed to the older Mortal Kombat where it was strictly 2D. But yeah, really, really nice little game, miss. I wouldn't say it's quite as good as Soul Calibur 2, but you can pick this up reasonably cheap, like 10 quid. So for a Mortal Kombat game, definitely worth a look. Next up, we got a Wave Race Blue Storm. This is a jet ski game, sequel to the N64 title. Basically, you pick a jet ski, various different courses. You have to, when you're racing, you have to go through these buoys. If you miss too many on a track, then it's like an instant game over. Yeah, nice little title. This looks pretty good. The water physics are really nice as well. You know, the weather, whenever you play a track, really can vary in difficulty greatly. If it's nice and flat, steady water, it's quite easy. Once you get some waves up there and it gets choppy, it can get quite difficult. But yeah, really nice little title, that. And you got Burnout 2 Point of Impact. This is arcade-style racing game. You also had the original Burnout as well on a GameCube, but I have a second one, which is usually considered to be the superior one. So basically, you're street racing, pick a car, you have to sort of dodge traffic, and you know, obviously there are other races as well. You have your nitrous bar as well, because if you drive dangerously, you build up a gauge and you can sort of let it off and zoom forward. Yeah, really nice title this. Again, most of the Burnout titles are really good. We never got Burnout 3 or Burnout 4, which I believe PS2 got, but unfortunately GameCube didn't. But yeah, this is still a nice little title, this. Then you got Billy Hatcher and the Giant Egg. So this is a 3D platformer, published by Sega. It's actually made by Sonic Team, obviously made a Sonic series. You basically play with sort of kid called Billy, and you have a giant egg and you have to roll it around. You can use it to defeat enemies, or you can use it to solve puzzles. Now, a lot of people really like this game. I gotta be honest, it's never really clicked to me. I can kind of understand why people do like it, but for me, I don't know, I get a few levels into it and my interest goes, to be honest. Not bad, it's just I think there are better 3D platformers out there. So next up, we got Super Buster Move All-Stars. You may also know this game as Puzzle Bubble, depending where you are in the world. This is sort of a arcadey puzzle game made by Taito. Basically, you can't really see it too well there, but yeah, there's multicoloured bubbles, and you shoot a particular coloured bubble from the bottom, and you have to try and match them. Fairly standard stuff. This game series has been on basically everything from Super Nintendo right through to like the PlayStation 5. Yeah, it's been going for years. Solid little arcadey puzzle game. There's not really much to say about it, to be honest. It's just, if you know the series, you'll probably like it. If not, you probably won't. You've got something completely different. Die Hard Vendetta. So this is a first-person shooter, loosely based on the Die Hard series. You're basically John McClane, who's not voiced by Bruce Willis, it's a sound-alike. And you basically go on a series, because I think your daughter's meant to have been kidnapped in it. Yeah, it's okay. It kind of just feels like they just made a standard first-person shooter and then whacked a Die Hard license on it at the last minute. Not necessarily bad, not necessarily great either. Then you got a way better game, Star Wars Rogue Squadron 2, or Rogue Leader Rogue Squadron 2. This is obviously a Star Wars flying game, mostly based on the original trilogy. As you can see there, you've got the Death Star run from the original film, you've got like the AT-AT, so the AT-AT bit from Empire. Yeah, really nice title. This looks great, and it was a launch title as well, but it's held up really well. It's quite tricky in places, but there are plenty of cheats you can get with it, so if you want to unlock the further bits in the games, it is quite easy to. But yeah, this is a really nice title. Again, this was a sequel as well to an N64 game, but yeah, if you're a Star Wars fan, or if you're just flying games in general fan, this is definitely worth looking at. Next up, Beach Spikers Virtual Beach Volleyball. This is a arcadey volleyball game, quite similar to Sega's Virtual Tennis. In fact, it was actually made by the same people, I believe. Very similar thing, but obviously volleyball now instead of tennis. Yeah, nice little title, this. Again, very arcadey, probably not going to be playing it forever, but quick little sort of 20-minute, half-hour blast. Is a nice little game, this. Does support up to 4 people as well, because obviously there's 2 on each side, so yeah, good multiplayer game. Then we got Spy Hunter. This is a racing game, sort of follow-up to the old Midway arcade game from the 80s. Basically, you drive along and you can use weapons and you can shoot down your opponents and things. Yeah, this is okay. I wouldn't say it's amazing or anything. A lot better racing games on the GameCube. It's a nice sort of novel to be able to shoot it, but it's not something I'd really recommend if I'm honest. I think what kills it a bit as well is it effectively won't let you go straight to the next level. It forces you to replay the same levels over and over again to get extra points to unlock the next one. It gets a little bit repetitive because you're just playing the same stages over and over again. But yeah, you know, it is what it is. Then you got The Sims. This is, well, I'll say it's a loose port of obviously the famous PC game. You build your house, you put your little sim fellas in there. You've also got sort of challenge modes and things like that in this version as well. Yeah, pretty good. I would say this sort of game's probably best played on a PC, but if you don't have a PC, just have a console. Still a nice time. Then you got Need for Speed Underground. This is a racing game, or street racing to be more precise. Feels very inspired by the first Fast and the Furious film, this to me. I think it came out about a year or two afterwards. Yeah, decent enough game. I can't say I've ever been a massive fan of the Need for Speed series. I've been a little bit more of a Ridge Racer fan myself, but yeah, this is pretty decent. Looks alright. You got real licensed cars, you got licensed music as well. Yeah, good time. It does feel very what's the word? Early 2000s, you know, the sort of era of like Fast and the Furious or Pimp My Ride, you know, that sort of car culture vibe to it. But yeah, it's alright. Then we got Medal of Honor Frontline. So this is a first-person shooter set in the Second World War, and specifically set in Nazi-occupied Europe during the Second World War. Yeah, this is a really nice game, this. Basically, when you play it, you can't really go in all guns blazing. You have to sort of think slightly more tactically, which I like about it, and it does use stealth in places as well, and you're sort of constantly looking for different paths. It very much sort of doesn't hold your hand. It drops you in an area and you have to figure out what you got to do yourself. But yeah, nice little title, this. This was really popular at the time. I think the Medal of Honor series about this time was very big, though people never really seem to talk about it much now. Yeah, solid title. And that was followed up by Medal of Honor Rising Sun. This was obviously the sequel, came out a year later. This one is set in sort of, how can you put it, in the Pacific, in the Far East. Sort of to do with the Americans and the Japanese fighting each other. Like, for instance, it starts off during Pearl Harbor when you were, you know, a sailor, sorry, on a ship was getting sunk. But yeah, again, really nice title. I'd say the first one's probably slightly better. This one is a little bit janky in terms of performances in certain places, but it's you know, still pretty sound. And talking of military shooters, we also got Call of Duty Finest Hour. This was the very first console Call of Duty game. I believe there was one previous to this on the PC, but this is the first one which made its way onto consoles. It's good. I wouldn't say it's as good as the later Call of Duty games. I think they were very much still finding their feet here. It does weirdly feel a lot like a Medal of Honor knockoff. Like, I think Medal of Honor came out, was very popular, and Activision decided to make their own version. Ironically, of course, next generation Call of Duty would basically just take over the Medal of Honor. But yeah, still a sound little title, this. Weirdly enough, you've got quite a famous voice cast in this. You've got Jason Statham's in it, and I think, oddly enough, Brian Johnson out of AC/DC does one of the voices. Why exactly he's in it, I don't know, but it's a nice little extra. Next up, we got Ace Golf. This is obviously a golf game, trying to be quite similar to something like Everybody's Golf on a PlayStation, as in it's sort of meant to be slightly more easily accessible and a bit more cartoony. It's okay, it's fine. I think if you really want this style of golf game on a Gamecube, I would probably go for Mario Golf that we saw earlier, but yeah, it's average, I'd say. Then we got Prince of Persia, Warrior Within. This is sort of 3D action adventure game. If you ever played any of the Prince of Persia's, you'll know what to expect. Pretty sound title, this. Quite enjoyable. I believe the first Prince of Persia came out on a Gamecube as well, but I don't actually have it. Probably ought to pick it up. But yeah, solid 3D platform. Controls aren't the best on this. It can take a little bit of time to get used to, but and again, I think because it's an early 3D game, yeah, you kind of got to put up with it. Then we have Virtual Striker 3 version 2002. So this is a football game, or indeed soccer game, made by Sega, port of an arcade game. This is a really fun little title, this. Very, as I said, very arcadey. It's not your Sim, it's not your FIFA, it's sort of very over the top. Good little title though, very easy to pick up and play. You also got as well on this as a bonus team where you can unlock Sonic and sort of Tails and Knuckles and things like that as their own team. They're called like Sega All Stars or something like that. Which is a nice little extra. As I said, it is made by Sega, but yeah, good title, right? And you got Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4. It was obviously Tony Hawk's game. Skateboarding. You basically put in an area and you have a few minutes, like 3 minutes, to perform tricks and that sort of stuff. I've got to be honest, I've never been a massive Tony Hawk's game. I know a lot of people like these games. Like I remember when the first one came out on the PS1, like everyone I knew seemed to be into it. I don't mind them, they're okay. There's a couple of views on the Gamecube. I'm probably not the best person in the world to talk about this, but yeah, it's okay. It's nice enough. Then we got Enter the Matrix. So this is, I wouldn't say it's based on the Matrix films, but it's meant to run parallel between the second and the third film. Yeah, this is okay. Plays a lot like Max Payne. Decent enough, but I wouldn't go mad over it. Strangely enough, I remember when this came out, this was like really, really hyped up, this game. Like people were talking about it for months before. And obviously you had the films coming out about the same time and people going mad for it. And then when it actually came out, it was like, yeah, it's okay. But yeah, I think that's probably a lesson in not getting too hyped about games. But yeah, it's alright. Now, I'm going to mention a few Resident Evil games here. First up, this is Resident Evil. This is basically a remake of the 1996 game originally on PlayStation. Really, really nice remake, this. Still uses a static camera from the original game, but they've completely redone the graphics, completely done all the cutscenes. All the areas are a lot bigger as well. There's a lot more extra rooms. Like it still uses the same mansion, but just it's a far bigger game. You have sort of extra bits like the Crimson Heads and like at least Trevor bit. Great game, this. Probably one of the best remakes ever made, personally, in my opinion. But yeah, great little title, this. If you've never played a Resident Evil game, this is probably almost like the best introduction because it literally starts the story from afresh. So yeah, great title. Then we got Resident Evil 2. Now, a bit of an odd one this, because this is a very good game. However, it is not a remake. It is pretty much a straight port of the PS1 version. Doesn't really add a huge amount. The only major difference really is it's now on 1 disc, whilst the original one is on 2 discs. Still good. Still a very good game, in fact, but it feels a bit of a racy opportunity that it didn't completely remake it. I would say, of course, years and years later, they would actually remake Resident Evil 2, and it was very good, but that wouldn't come out until like PS4, Xbox One era. But yeah, again, this is one, if you don't own it on anything else, I'd say definitely get it. If you played one of the other versions, it's going to be pretty much the same. And then we got the amazing Resident Evil 4. This originally was a GameCube exclusive. Has been re-released on multiple different systems over the years since. But yeah, great little title. We play Leon on this. You're basically in a remote part of Spain. Great title, this. Sort of really reinvigorated the series as well at the time, and you know, 5 and 6 really borrows a lot from this game as well. Yeah, great title. I'd almost say if I was going to pick a favourite GameCube game today, I would say probably this one in all honesty, because I've probably played this so many times over the years. I would say, of course, there are maybe better ways to play this now, because you've got the HD versions and you've got a remake from a few years ago, but its GameCube version still holds up really well. Now, I've got a few Bonds here. Big Bond fan, so I've got a few of the different games here. Right, first of all, we got Agent Under Fire. This obviously mixes first-person shooters, rail sections, and driving sections. Really nice little game, this. Nice title. A little bit on the short side, like it won't take you that long to finish it, but yeah, still very solid little title, this one. I believe this might have been a launch game on the GameCube, or if not, a very early game, but yeah, nice little title, this. And then it was followed up by 007 Nightfire. This is kind of more of the same, where you got first-person sections, rail sections, driving sections. Big difference here, you actually got Pierce Brosnan, who would have been the Bond at the time, doing a voiceover. I think you got like Judi Dench as well on here. This feels similar to the first one, but you can tell it has, how can you put it now, bigger production values. I can guess in the first one was kind of a hit and they spent a bit more money, but yeah, really nice title. Then you've got 007 Everything or Nothing. This is the third game in the series. Again, features Pierce Brosnan. Goes for more of a third-person viewpoint, slightly more action-orientated, this one, but I would argue this is probably the best Bond game out of all of them on the GameCube. Really nice title, good story to it. Just, it's probably the one I've gone back to the most on this. Yeah, really sound title, this. Again, most of these Bond games were not exclusive to the GameCube on various other things, but yeah, cracking title. And then you've got GoldenEye Rogue Agent. This is probably the weakest one, I won't lie. It is not a remake of the N64 game, unfortunately. I think they're trying to cash in on it by calling it GoldenEye, but, you know. Basically, this one, you don't actually really play Bond in it. You play this other woman in it. Or you play Bond a little bit in it, but you also play other characters. The GoldenEye is you have this sort of eye attachment and you can zoom in on things. It's nothing to do with the actual satellite from GoldenEye. Yeah, it's okay. Probably one that's just skippable, but again, not awful by any means, but it's okay. I'd say as well, there was also From Russia of Love as well on the GameCube, which is the only one I don't have. Probably ought to pick it up, but again, from what I heard, that's quite good. So, I've got a couple of games here in this nice little GameCube-style wallet here, where basically I've got the disc and haven't got the case anymore for whatever reason. So I thought I'd just mention a few of those as well. Starting off with Star Fox Adventures. This is, well, a slightly departure from your normal Star Fox game. It's more of an action-adventure, sort of maybe almost in the style of something like Zelda. There are some sections where in a spaceship, but I don't know, it's good, but it just doesn't quite feel like Star Fox to me, but yeah. Then you've got Sonic Mega Collection. This is a compilation of all the Mega Drive Sonic games, or the Genesis Sonic games, I guess. Yeah, pretty good. It's just a bunch of old Sonic games on a disc. Mario Kart Double Dash. This one is obviously the Mario Kart from the GameCube. Big thing here is when you start a race, you basically pick two different characters and it will change your performance depending on which characters you choose. Yeah, nice little title. Again, you can't go wrong in Mario Kart. They're all pretty good. The only major thing I'd say about it doesn't have a huge amount of tracks compared to some of the titles, but it's still a sound little game. SSX Tricky. This is a snowboarding game. I believe the original was on the PS2. Yeah, pretty good. Basically snowboard down slope, perform tricks, that sort of thing. Pretty good game. Turok Evolution, first-person shooter, obviously based on the Turok series, which I believe started on the N64. Yeah, it's okay, to be honest. I wouldn't say it's amazing or anything. It's not terrible, but it's not one you'd want to rush out and play. Top Gun Combat Zones, loosely based on the Top Gun series of films. Kind of plays like Ace Combat, but not as good. It's the nicest way I say about that. Not awful, but fine. Metroid Prime Echoes. This is basically his second Metroid Prime game. Thought I had the first one. Can't find it in this video, but they're both pretty good. Well, I'd say pretty good. They're both very good, in fact. They're sort of first-person shooters, but with some sort of puzzle-solving elements in places as well. But yeah, great games, the Metroid Prime games. Rebel Strike. Star Wars Rebel Strike Rogue Squadron 3. This is the sequel to the Star Wars game you saw earlier. Again, mostly based on the original trilogy. Use various different ships from that whose films. Yeah, pretty good. I wouldn't say it's quite as good as the other one. They got a few on-foot sections which don't really work all that well on this one, but it's still okay. And finally, you got Bloody Roar Primal Fury. It's a 3D fighting game. The big thing here is basically your characters can turn into various different animals during the fight, and it gives you sort of extra moves and more power and things. Yeah, really nice title that. I believe you again original was on the PlayStation, but yeah, really good little game. And yeah, that is that. So yeah, that is my Nintendo GameCube collection. So thank you very much for watching. Hopefully I shall see you next time, and goodbye.